Hey, it's Jim from the Woodworking Corner. A couple years ago, my daughter asked me to build her a desk, and then, as any good dad would do, I complied. Even though I told her I didn't think the desk had enough storage, I still went ahead with it anyway. A couple years later, she comes to me and says, "Dad, there's not enough storage in the desk," and opts to get a new one. So she traded one white desk for another white desk.
Get out.
I want an Oompa Loompa now! Can it, you nit?
So what to do with the old desk? After some careful thought, I decided to make a slide-out drawer for the garbage in the kitchen and another drawer for the cleaning supplies next to it underneath the kitchen sink. My goal was to use as much of the materials from the desk as possible, so this way I didn't have to go out and buy any more materials. Let's see how I did. First things first, I need to clean out the kitchen cabinet so I can get an idea of the dimensions. My QA inspector gives me a passing grade. The face frame of the kitchen cabinet will be in the way of the drawer slide, so I have to build out the wall of the cabinet by 3/4 of an inch. And at the same time, I need to build a mock wall down the middle of the cabinet. After everything is disassembled, I start to rip down the boards I need for the inside of the cabinets. I give myself a clean edge and rip down 4 boards at 5 inches apiece. Two of the boards are glued up and will represent the wall in the middle of the cabinet. I decide to install the drawer slides now so I don't have to do it inside the kitchen cabinet. I'm leaving 3/4 of an inch overhang, which will represent the face frame of the kitchen cabinet. Once done, I'm back in the kitchen to install the boards with the drawer slides on them. Using a square and a spacer block, I make sure that the middle of the drawer is both square up and down as well parallel to the cabinet wall. Another check by my QA inspector, and it's time to go back into the garage. Now I can cut the materials for the drawer. I made the drawer 5 inches tall. With the pipes in the cabinet, I couldn't make it any higher even if I wanted to. And here comes the big issue with this table saw. The locking mechanism for the blade angle isn't very tight. It isn't the first time this came loose during a project. Now I use a bungee cord to keep it locked in place. Using a setup block, I set the saw height to 1/4 of an inch, and I start the blade at 3/16 of an inch from the fence. This gives me a little under 1/4 of an inch of material from the bottom of the drawer to the spacing for the drawer bottom. After making the first passes with the two sides in the front of the drawer, I adjust the fence until I get a perfect fit for the drawer bottom. I don't make a groove in the back side of the drawer. After the groove is cut into 3 sides, I measure the distance from the top of the side to the top of the groove and set the saw to that measurement. Then I raise the blade and trim the back of the side of the drawer. Once the groove for the drawer bottom is complete, then it's time for the pocket holes in the front and the back pieces. The pocket holes go on the opposite side from the groove. To assemble the drawer, set all the pieces upside down and with the grooves facing inwards. I'm starting with the back piece first. This pocket hole clamp is something I got for Christmas, and let me say it works great. It does an awesome job of squaring up the two pieces without the need for a corner clamp. I would definitely leave a link for it in the description. In doing the front of the drawer, I'm leaving the width of the 2 uprights that I'm using for the support for the cabinet door. The front piece of the drawer will be hidden with the cabinet door, and the pocket holes in the back of the drawer will be in the back of the drawer with no one to see them. After, it's time to cut the bottom panel for the drawer. I like making drawers this way because I don't have to worry about assembling the drawer bottom at the same time as the sides, front, and back. A couple of countersunk holes and a couple of screws, and the drawer is complete. I'm using the drawer fronts from the desk and ripping them in half using the upright supports. This technique looked quite familiar to one of my YouTube shorts. On the table saw, I am lining up the saw to cut straight down the line I made, giving me 2 equal boards. I assemble them to the drawer. I put the garbage can in and use a scrap piece of wood to use as a divider. This will keep the garbage can from shifting and also give me a space behind the garbage that I can use for extra bags and such. Back in the kitchen, it's time to install the drawer. With such a bad camera angle, I didn't go through the entire install of the drawer. But what I do is use a spacer under the drawer to give about a 1/4 inch clearance from the face frame. Then I slide the drawer slide out little by little and drill in a screw. With one drawer done, it's time to work on the next drawer. My measurements are done, my cutlass is ready, and it's time to rinse and repeat like the first drawer. Repurposing existing projects, like this old desk, isn't just about being resourceful. It's a journey through creativity and sustainability. There's something profoundly satisfying about giving new life to an old piece of furniture. It's not just wooden screws. It's a collection of memories, experiences, and skills acquired over time. When we reuse and repurpose, we're doing more than just saving materials from ending up unused or discarded. We're honoring the time and effort that went into creating the original piece. Each project carries a story, and by repurposing, we continue that narrative in a new and exciting way. Moreover, the process of transforming an existing project challenges us to think creatively. Some of you might be wondering about the doors. If the doors are now attached to the drawers, how will the door handles work? I remove the hardware from the door. I clamp the door down, and using a 1/2 inch spade bit, I bore out the holes where the door handles were. Then I cut a couple of pieces of 1/2 inch dowel. I apply ample glue to them and then insert them into the holes. I use sawdust from my orbital sander to fill in any gaps between the holes in the dowels. After the glue dried, I go back with a small Japanese pull saw and trim the excess from the dowels. Then I sand everything flat. I turn the cabinet door over and repeat on the back side of the door. I made a jig from the first door, so I can drill holes in the door for the cabinet pull. Using a brad point drill bit that is a little bit wider than the width of the bolt, I drill a couple of holes. After a double check with the ruler, and I am good to go. With both drawers built, it's time to give them some paint. Here are the two of them complete. Back in the kitchen for the final installation. No, we do not store iced tea mix by the garbage. That's an empty container that we use to store used oil and grease from cooking. Hey, I was finishing up this video. I just realized I did not cover how I installed the doors themselves, get them all lined up. Because of the tight space here in the kitchen, I didn't really have a good camera angle, so it was like so hard to actually try and film it and do it all at the same time. But the way that I did it was, my wife helped me out also, is we used a clamp, and we clamped the door here, lining it up with this part here, lining it up here. This drawer was out altogether. I was able to scoot in through the back, having pre-drilled holes already, and was able to attach the door here. Then I was able to take this drawer out and basically do the same thing with this one. So with this drawer out, we were able to clamp this where we wanted it, go around the other side inside the drawer, and drill it this way. Doing probably 4 screws on each side, just did the first 2, check the alignment, see if we were good. If we were good, then drilled in all the rest of the holes, which it turned out to be okay. So I'm happy with the way they turned out in terms of the alignment part. Everything seemed to come out okay. So yeah, I apologize for not adding that part to the video. It was an oversight as I was doing the editing part. So hopefully if you had a question in regards to how that was done, that's how we did it. Thanks.